Are you a people pleaser? Always putting others first, having trouble saying no, or feeling that you have to keep everyone around you happy? If any of this makes sense, keep watching this video as we talk more about people pleasing. What it is, what are the effects, and most of all, how do we overcome our people pleasing tendency so that we can strike a healthier balance? Being a people pleaser isn't a bad thing at all. It usually comes from a place of kindness or a genuine desire to make others around you feel happy. But when it starts to come at the cost of our own well being and our own needs, it really takes a toll, and that's when this needs to be addressed. In fact, studies show that people pleasers are more likely to experience burnout, anxiety, and a constant feeling that no matter how much they do for others, it's never quite enough. So, now we're going to be talking about some signs that you might have a people pleasing tendency. If you identify with any of these, then you're watching the right video. Fear of rejection or abandonment. So you feel like your close friends, your partner, or your family will leave you if you don't keep them happy. You're always listening and doing exactly what others expect of you, even if it's harmful. You ignore your own needs just so that others around you feel happy. You're also over-sacrificing to maintain relationships. Also, you're not sharing your feelings, your hurts, or disappointments with the people close to you, so you avoid conflict. You probably also have trouble setting boundaries or saying no. Seeking validation through others' approval and their compliments makes you feel more secure. Apologizing too much, even when it's not necessary. And most of all, you doubt your own worth unless others validate you or they give you a compliment. Being kind and a helpful person is a wonderful thing. People pleasing is only really concerning when it happens consistently and it's at the cost of your own well being and your safety. So, now let's talk about how to tell if you are actually people pleasing or you're just being a kind and helpful person. Whenever someone asks you for a favor, if you have the feeling of resentment, that could be a key indicator that this is people pleasing. Resentment feels like a blend of anger, frustration, and disappointment. If you're doing something for someone but feeling that underlying resentment, it's often a sign that you are overextending yourself. Another one is discomfort. For example, you may be feeling very sick, but you still show up to work just so that your boss doesn't get mad at you. You'd be working despite the physical and emotional discomfort. It would make complete sense to you if your boss notices this and gives you a compliment. But in case they don't notice, it may have the opposite effect. So, where does people pleasing really come from? People pleasing isn't random. It often goes back to certain experiences and emotional needs. As a recovering people pleaser myself, I've really looked into research and what may be causing this. One of the common ones is emotional dependence. Sometimes people pleasing is a way so that we can meet our unfulfilled emotional needs. In fact, even research shows that those who feel emotionally dependent may avoid being alone and seek exclusive attention in relationships, which can lead to prioritizing others' needs over their own. In psychology, there's also a theory on attachment style. So, if you've experienced any kind of inconsistent or unstable relationships, you might have developed an anxious attachment style. People pleasing can then become a way to feel more secure in your relationships and a way to avoid rejection. There's also trauma. For some, people pleasing is a trauma response, which is called fawning, where you try to keep others happy so that you can avoid conflict. It's a protective response that can stem from neglect or emotional abuse. Need for validation. Growing with a lack of emotional validation of any kind, maybe from an absent parent or through difficult social situations, can lead to seeking approval from others so that you feel more secure. So, what are the effects of people pleasing? Here are some effects that you may be experiencing. Always avoiding conflict can lead to a buildup of stress and anxiety. When we ignore our own needs, it's easy to feel unfulfilled, which can contribute to feelings of sadness or emptiness. Overcommitting and neglecting self-care can also lead to both physical and emotional exhaustion, which is also called burnout. Basing our self-worth on what others think of us can make us really question our own value. Over time, constantly prioritizing others can build resentment, which ultimately leads to straining our relationships. Suppressed emotions of any kind can show up in physical ways, like headaches, stomach issues, and other stress-related conditions. As you can see, this tendency can become unhealthy and needs to be looked after. So, how do we overcome it? There is good news. People pleasing is a tendency, it's not a fixed trait. So, that means that we can use some strategies so that we keep our tendencies in check. Setting boundaries. Boundaries help us define what's okay and what's not. So, for example, if you're invited by someone for a late night party and you have an early morning meeting tomorrow, you could say no by saying, I'd love to come, but I'll only be able to stay until a certain time. So, you are saying no to staying till late. So, you're putting a boundary there, but you still keep the connection alive without compromising what you want. Another one is practicing self compassion. Whenever you notice self criticism, reframe your inner dialogue and how you're talking to yourself. Talk to yourself like how you would to a close friend. Also, try journaling a few things about how you appreciate some things about yourself. This practice will help you build self-worth. And next time you get any kind of request, just pause and ask, is this what I need right now? Mindfulness. Take 5 minutes each day so that you can meditate, focus on your breath, and just observe your thoughts come and go. You could also use a quick body scan to check in with yourself, and these practices will help you reduce that automatic yes response. So next time you're faced with a request, just pause and ask again, is this a true yes? Gradual exposure. Start saying no in low stake situations so that you get comfortable with setting boundaries. Prepare a few polite responses in advance. Oh, I'd love to help, but my schedule is full. Acknowledge each successful no so you can ultimately build confidence. Also, work on your emotional intelligence or EQ. Practice naming the emotions you're going through so that you understand your true feelings in any situation. Show empathy to others without overextending yourself. So, you can validate others while you're also respecting your needs. Through this, you will notice you're identifying your triggers for people pleasing so that you can create a plan for managing them calmly whenever a situation arises. So, these are some brief tips that have been mentioned. They could help you provide a manageable start for shifting away from people-pleasing habits. Finally, I'd like to share that people-pleasing doesn't define who we are. It's just one of the many tendencies which make us human. We all want to be socially accepted and liked by others. So by recognizing it, setting boundaries, and practicing self-care, we can find a healthier balance between being kind to others and also staying true to ourselves. This way, we're also showing up as better friends, partners, or relatives for people in our life. And with that, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching. If any of this resonates with you, please share it in the comments, drop a like, and please subscribe to the channel for more real talk. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.